Hello again. Today's recipe is chili oil, or more specifically garlic chili oil. For this, you're going to need a pot. This one's been beat up a bit, I don't mind staining it. You're going to need a glass jar of some kind. I'm making quite a bit because I go through a fair amount of this. You can half the recipe. The recipe I'm going to make is for a jar this size, which looks to be about 20 fluid ounces. So the boiling water is going to sterilize the jar before we put the oil on it, because you've got to make sure it's really clean. Okay, so you need a pot, a jar, boiling water, chili, oil. I'm using corn oil today, some salt, some sugar. Now I'm using Jaggery. Jaggery is basically sugar, cane sugar, before they mess with it. This is completely unrefined sugar. It's got all the molasses and the minerals and everything. If you can't get it, just use white sugar, some plain salt, and some fresh garlic, and of course your measuring spoon. So I'm going to pour the water in here and start chopping the garlic and come back. Okay, so the water's in the jar. Yeah, and as usual I forgot a couple of things. It's been a while since I've done this. So I've got two cups of corn oil heating over medium heat. And yes, you will need your trusty candy thermometer for this one. You want to eyeball it, that's up to you. I bear no liability for anything you do if you don't do it correctly. Because the oil can froth, okay? So, candy thermometer, 2 cups of oil, 1 cup of crushed chilies, and I've got, well, how many have I got? I've got 9 here. It depends on flavor, how much you want, okay? And I'm going to be using 1 teaspoon of salt, and this is fairly mild. I would guess probably 2 to 3 teaspoons, so let's just say a tablespoon of sugar. So I'm going to get this chopped up and wait, check the temperature. This has to heat up to 250 Fahrenheit, approximately 250 Fahrenheit, or around 120 centigrade. Okay, garlic is chopped. The oil's at around 200, 205. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour the water out to let this air dry. Okay, so the oil is at 250 right now. First I'm going to add the chilies. The reason I'm adding the chilies first, you can see them frothing up here. This is why I was saying it was important that you control the temperature. Any solute that you add to a hot oil is going to lower the flash point. Okay, as long as you remember that whenever you're adding anything to hot oil. And that's why I'm saying you got to respect the temperatures, because the last thing you want is put everything in. And those are dried, okay? The garlic is wet. So, that seems to have controlled that. So we're going to put, I just took the cap off, this is going to be just so much easier. Okay, so there's about our 1 teaspoon of salt. And I decided I'm just going to go, because this is a really mild flavor, I'm going to go for the 1 tablespoon, because this is really hot stuff. And this is simply going to balance the flavors out. Okay, so there's the sugar. And last but not least, the garlic. Hear that fizzing? Now this temperature of oil is going to caramelize the garlic without actually burning it, and put a lot of flavor into this oil. So I'm going to leave this off the heat for a while until it's cooled down enough that all activity in the pan has stopped, that there's no more bubbles or anything, and the jar is dry, and then I'm going to get a funnel and I'm going to transfer it. Okay, so I've been doing some stuff around the house. It's been probably around half an hour, 40 minutes. The temperature has dropped to 150 Fahrenheit, which is around 60 degrees centigrade. Let's take the thermometer out. Now, I've got a canning funnel here. I do recommend using a funnel of some form. If you're adventurous, you can just pour it. You miss, it's going to make a huge mess, so I use the funnel and a ladle. The flavor will take quite a bit of time to develop. Okay, so at this point I'm confident in pouring it in. Now, so if you've got a bit of a smaller jar, you can either, and you've got more oil than you'd planned, you can leave some of the sludge in the bottom. I put all the chili that I can fit into the jar in here. Because it'll absorb the flavor. Now, so I'll take this out so you can see it. Put that there for now. Okay, I had to recharge the batteries, and I lost my shot, but I set it up again. So this has been sitting for about a half an hour. This is warm to the touch now. You'll notice that the chili mass has settled to the bottom. Now I got to put in a spoon here, just to show you the color of the oil. And if you've been to good Chinese restaurants, you'll notice that this looks awfully familiar, because you got that wonderful smoky chili color. And I really wish you guys could smell this stuff, because it's just amazing, and it smells just like the stuff in the restaurants. Wow, maybe they do the same thing. Okay, now one thing you will notice, and ground chilies are so cheap, okay, you cannot reconstitute this oil. I've tried to do this by buying like store-bought really expensive chili oils and like adding more oil to it after. It just doesn't work, okay? And what you should do when you use this is always take the oil off the top, similar to the way I'm doing here, okay? Do not stir this up. It does not improve the taste, okay? And basically when you run out of oil on the top, well, it's time to make more. Okay, so there you have it, garlic chili oil. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again.